Hi there. We're back. Oh my goodness gracious. Or similar words to that effect. What an ordeal. what a scary set of circumstances, and I've nothing life threatening. I'm not didn't go through anything that is worth kvetching and complaining about. I really didn't, except the computer and all the files and all the work maybe gone forever. Oh, okay, good, fine. I'll just go over here for a minute. And we're back. We found a great deal on a renewed reused computer, and good morning. Good morning, Billy. Oh, what a scary good morning, Charles. Here you are. So just when you're not the best at something, and that's the thing that goes wrong, and people keep saying, do you have any idea what's wrong? No. Do I look like I have any idea what's wrong? How am I doing? Well, gosh, Billy, thanks for asking. I have a computer and I'm back at my desk, and I'm going to need some help. Billy's going to help me later today. I haven't actually synced the camera properly. I plugged it in. It says plug and play. Good morning, Freddie. Good morning. When you buy a thing in the box that says plug and play, apparently they don't mean that. Apparently there's other stuff. Who knew? Okay, I'll call you after Billy. And so my friend Billy said, you realize that the color's off because your hair is a lot brighter than this, and we can fix that. There's a way. And so last night, after 5 hours of following instructions from tech support who wasn't feeling well, 5 hours is a long time. I thought, hey, you know what? I'll just look up this fabulous link that I have to the camera. And I read stuff and I thought, you know what's fascinating about this? It's in English. And I have no idea what they're saying to me. And English is my first language. In fact, I feel quite good about my English capabilities. Not, however, when it comes to technology. So I apologize. The crazy thing is that my hair is a little brighter than this, and those flowers, that feather hat thing is like this riot of color, and that jacket isn't a pale shade of wan. It's a Shazam kind of thing. So we're going to fix that. But that aside, in the midst of all of this craziness, terrified when I couldn't find my stuff and looking frantically, and then all of a sudden there's an external drive. It's a box that contains everything, and it had been saved, but it took me a long time to find it. When I found it, I had this weird combination of wanting to cry, wanting to laugh. It's like reading Greek or Mandarin Chinese when it comes to computer instructions, Charles. Yes. You don't know whether to turn the page this way because the squiggles on the page mean nothing that way. Anyway, it was just horrifying. It was this awful, oh my God, what have I done? How could I have been so, not paying attention? And the thing is, when the dust settled, and I stopped having these, Charles says, or like reading IKEA furniture instructions. Yeah, that's right. Viking revenge. When everything came back and I realized that I was going to be okay, I suddenly had this great idea. And I I said to myself, what I'm going through right now is a significant demand to pivot on so many levels simultaneously. I'm not sick. I feel fine. IKEA furniture is pictures, isn't it? See, really? See? Maybe. Could be pictures. Could be hieroglyphics. Could be the ancient lost treasures of Egypt. The thing about realizing that you've good morning, Garen. I just did that in your honor. The most amazing thing about my last month, actually, because the first time the computer imitated Camille was on the 30th of August. And here it is, we're like 3 days away. Everything felt a little unstable. Everything felt like I'd done it wrong when I had been under the impression that I was doing it beautifully. I was dislocating my shoulder from patting myself on the back half the time at being so clever. And then, much the way I enter many doorways, August, we have time traveled. 1 whole month of this, Billy. I've been doing this for 1 whole month. And it doesn't feel like much. It doesn't feel, when people are dealing with things that are taking them years to sort out and resolve. However, I realized it was such a brilliant metaphor for everything that I'm talking about, all the interviews that we're doing, all the stories that we're sharing about hitting a wall and falling down and sitting there blinking for a minute. And then there's this very tempting urge to stay sitting there blaming and shaming ourselves for getting it wrong, when what really has to happen is we have to get up and figure out how to fix whatever happened. We can sit there for a while and, if we're hurt, okay. However, we have to get up and we have to figure out how to fix what happened, because that's what life is. And quite often the fix has to be different than what we had, and vastly different than what we had. And one of our big challenges is to be okay with that, is to give ourselves permission to say, what I'm going to do? When all of the dust is settled and I've had a chance to breathe, I'm going to give myself permission to have a good feel sorry, a big glass of something, all the cake and ice cream I can eat, something that allows me to both grieve and celebrate, grieve the loss and celebrate the survival. And that we can do that we are really good at doing that, at understanding that we can't sit there forever feeling sorry for ourselves, understanding that we need time to heal, understanding that we have to get up soon and get going because stuff's got to happen. Knowing that we're going to have permission to tell that story and laugh about the things that went really silly, off the rails, and hug each other over the things that were terrifying and tragic, and build a better connection together because of it, because of the conversations we had, because of the work we did, and move forward. This is how extraordinary we are. It's funny, yesterday when the computer arrived, it was supposed to, it's coming on the 22nd. So close. Missed it by that much. So it arrived yesterday. And Billy, you'll appreciate this. I received 2 computers. 2. You are an inspiration to us all, Abby. Freddie, that's a very sweet thing. And I know that in some circles, I am an inspiration because people say, better her than me. Well done, Abby. And I'm just going to stand over here. 2 computers. I received 2 identical computers. The lovely girl who delivers the big boxes of stuff to the house, who's with Canada Post, ding dong, I opened the door. I said, hi. And she said, whoa, were you expecting this? And I said, yep. And she said, okay, hang on, I've got another box in the truck. And I said, okay. She walks away and I'm thinking, why would we have another box in the truck? Why would we? And she comes back with an identical box. And I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything. I'm doing my best. I know how to play poker face. I'm not saying 2 computer. Not doing that. Just in case she says, oh, maybe I better check the bill of lading. So here's the thing. One of them doesn't quite work. So one of them doesn't quite work. So we now have this, and here it is, and it's I could show you, but it's right there. It's a this big. It's a small tower, only it's on its side, so it's actually a shelf, a very intelligent shelf doing all kinds of magical things right beside my screen, on which is my camera, which is working because I remembered to take the lens cap off after I first didn't. I tested it and there was nothing. It was black. And I tested the camera before. Let's test the camera. It was completely black. And I sat there and I said to myself, I don't know what to do. And then I thought, wait a minute. And all of a sudden it was fine. Okay. So I have a camera and I have a computer and a half. You think the camera looks better already? Awesome. Or maybe it's me, I'm looking brighter. Am I looking brighter? The second computer, about which I will speak at great length when I talk to Billy, appears to be the same. And it may in fact be the same, and it may, but we had a glitch with it. So the color, yes, the color needs fixing. On the camera. I'm having these 2 conversations, folks. I'm really sorry. I'm dithering because I'm excited that I'm back, and Billy's asking me questions, and I'm telling him the answers, and it's very confusing for this thread. So here's what has happened as a result of ignore you. Ignore you. Okay. Here's what has happened as a result of this rather interesting 30 days, 28 days that I've been dealing with this, is a reboot is what you do when the inner workings of a computer just kind of go zort, and it's over there like a cat with a hairball doing that unfortunate thing. You reboot the computer, and everything seems to sort itself. So whatever it is that happens, whatever it is that happens when you reboot the computer, it's a reset. It whatever was gnarled up, snarled up, whatever, corrects itself. How wonderful is that? Do we understand why? Turn it on, turn it off? No idea. Charles, going through insurance paper and other junk, packing more stuff for the big moves in. Challenging and exhausting. And at some point, you wish you were 5 years old and somebody would just make you tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich, and it would all go away. Absolutely. The whole process of the reboot. I used to talk about this when I was doing stand-up comedy. I would say the reason a reset is difficult, the reason we struggle is kind of layered. And I've talked about all of this before. I think it's a really good opportunity and moment to talk about it again. Change is difficult when it wasn't our idea. When we wake up one day and get a check in the mail we weren't expecting, you say, you know what? I've been needing a new computer. I'm going to get a new computer. And we go through the process of getting everything organized, and we end up with the new computer. We're excited. It was our idea. Yay. When the computer you're using goes and no amount of resuscitation is doing any good, and you must get a new computer, totally different mindset, totally different anxieties, totally different frantic scramble, because it wasn't our idea. And now we didn't get any warning. And so now we have to tap dance faster than the music in order to catch up with the song. All of these things that happen to us, the pandemic, scary weather, no power, no plumbing, everything in the food went bad. The pants shrunk during COVID and nothing fits. Any of these things that we didn't expect, that we are perfectly capable of handling. It's I think a combination of the suddenness and the fullness, because it isn't just a little, no, it's a wham. The element of surprise and the fact that we were fully focused on something else, and we now have to set things aside, put them down where they won't break, so we don't step back and step on them, and apologize to people who were counting on us, and begin the job of correcting what went wrong and making temporary fixes so that we can keep on. All the food went bad. Well, there's stuff in the pantry. Didn't actually expect to make a meal out of canned peaches and peanut butter, but it's not going to kill you. And so we survive. And when we're very good at it, because we get to practice, which isn't fun, we not only survive, we thrive. We know what to do. And mostly we know ourselves. We understand what we're like when things go off the rails, how we default to our plan B, what we do in a bad time. There was a wonderful quote by Dorothy Parker, who was a very witty and highly successful writer in America. She was born in 1924, so she said that dignity is grace under pressure. And when you are given the opportunity to show your true colors because you're under pressure and distracted, how you rise to that, how you lean into that, how you organize what is within your power to organize, and how you present yourself not only to the situation, but to others involved in the situation and to other innocent bystanders, is an indication of your level of grace under pressure. How confident you are in yourself, how aware you are that no matter what is going on, other people have stuff going on and they matter. That it isn't all of a sudden all about us when our pants are on fire. Just feels like it. How we are able to maintain the balance, what it is that we do that we feel proud of later, is something that we learn over time. We acquire, we practice. We practice it, anybody can be charming on a good day when the diet worked and the pants fit. The trick is to be charming in the middle of February in the freezing rain when you have the flu. I find that I'm about a quart down on on charming when I have the flu in a freezing rainstorm. Yeah, I'm not at my best. I'm not nasty, but I'm a pale version of this. Energy is very low. Intelligence is very low. So in the last 30 days, I have been saying to myself and to other people, I don't want to be caught in this, like this, a second time. I want these plans. I want these beautiful shows. I want these amazing projects. I want these exciting opportunities to start coming together. And the only person who can drive that bus is me. So as soon as, I said to myself, as soon as I'm back up and running, as soon as I have a computer, as soon as, enough of this dilly-dallying and shilly-shallying, we got stuff to do. I don't just mean me. I mean, we have stuff to do because I made all these plans. And I've been waiting for the opportunity. I think the opportunity that presented itself was the one that said, okay, how long are you planning on waiting? Because look, wham. And it was a wake-up call for me in a very large way. And I've already been talking to people about what the goal is with Pivotry. I've already been talking to people about the concept that I'm really excited about. Billy and I have been talking about a couple of projects that are very exciting and necessary and fun. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So in a funny way, I needed this. I needed this surprise, even though I had almost thought I'd had my full complement of surprises. And we get comfortable, even when we think we're not. We get comfortable. We get set in a routine. We start doing things that are, it's fine, even when we think we're paying attention, because it's human nature. It's human nature to sit back and say, okay, I just got all the cushions arranged. This is really comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. You just don't do it forever. You don't do it forever and ever. That's crazy. You have stuff to do. So my issue this month, oh yes, and the other platform that said, we're going to restrict you from doing live videos and posting ads because you posted a photograph that we reminded you of, or at least you tried to post it and we prevented it. And now we're going to slap your hand and give you a 29-day suspension on all of that frivolous, spontaneous stuff you might do. And I said, what? Computer died on the 30th of August. On the 2nd of September, or the 3rd of September, Facebook said, and I sat there. And then all of a sudden I had a computer back on the 8th of September. And I said, all right, then, you know what? I can do this. I don't need to wait for that. I can do this. And I figured it out. And I know that Billy was rolling his eyes and saying, I've only been telling her about this for 45 years. Um, and so when I hit a wall and fell down and looked around and said, what on earth is the matter with you? Get up, fix that. And I did. I know that if I'm capable of fixing something that is technically technical, everybody's capable of fixing something, because we just need to be motivated. We just need to be inspired. We just need to have the hounds of hell tapping us on the shoulder saying, how you doing? And right away, inspiration like that. So here is the plan, kids. I left streaming on Facebook. They would mute my, why was Billy just wrote that he stopped streaming live on Facebook because they said they were muting him because the audio was copyrighted. Okay, but the audio was Billy talking. Billy, they said they partially muted me, and they said it was because the music was copyrighted. The music, the song was copyrighted. Song, I read song. Hello. So I said to myself, I'm going to back away slowly from this automatic penalizing thing, because clearly one of the screws is loose. You sound like angels singing. No. Well, thank you, darling. But exactly. Phrases, what music. Of all people to say what music. There wasn't any music. There isn't any music. Billy just said, I sound like angels singing. Darling, no. I sound like angels hoping it sounds like singing. And doing a lot of jazz hands and fluffing feather boas. Music haunts me to this day. Yeah, so does da-da-da-da-da-da. Everything that is in our path is one of those things we have an opportunity to look at and say, why does this always happen to me? And in fact, it doesn't always happen to us. It happens in rotation, and it's a random chance that we happen to be walking in front of it at some given time. And if we keep walking in front of it, whose fault is that? That things go wrong is an indication that nothing is perfect, including us. That things go horribly wrong is an indication that we should be paying closer attention. That we have the ability to adapt, to examine it, to figure out how we can participate in the solution is a gift that is unique to us. There's all kinds of very clever animals that can do amazing things. And some of them are sentient. Some of them know they're doing it. Some of them are aware of themselves the way we are. Some of them have problem-solving capabilities and languages that we don't understand, and ways of communicating that are beyond us. However, the combination of the things that we can do is extraordinary. And the way that we can communicate this to others is pretty spectacular. And when we are exhausted, when it feels as though our best efforts are simply not cutting it, when we feel that nobody cares, that nobody respects us, that nobody understands what we're trying to say and do. It's exhausting. And it eats away at our confidence, at our belief in ourselves. Because maybe there is something wrong with us if nobody acknowledges us. Maybe something terrible is wrong with us. Maybe we should just go and sit in a corner and wait for the end. Is easy to slip into. What is so important is recognizing that even though we're exhausted, we are truly blessed with a lot of amazing ability. And that was the beginning conversation I had, partly with myself, and when I was doing videos on the other platform in February, I had suddenly been in touch with 4 or 5 people who were absolutely shattered and shuttered by everything that was going on. And I got annoyed on their behalf because there's nothing wrong with them. They're brilliant, they're lovely, they're wonderful, they're funny, they're essential, they matter, they're amazing. They were just out of steam. They needed some kind of a hug and a tonic and, I don't know, some chocolate, maybe a feather boa. They needed to have their spirits come alive again. And at the same time, I was reading the emerging direction that a lot of these motivational coaches were going in, because hard to motivate people who were all in lockdown, so they were all panicking. And the pivot word suddenly began to trend, and people were saying, you got to do more to be more. You got to pivot. You got to look for the new trend and chase it. And I'm reading that, I'm thinking, that is probably the dumbest thing I have seen anybody do in a long time. While people are exhausted and ready to call it quits, is not the time to tell them to, you know what? Just put on your big boy pants. And you think, oh, really? Here's a pair of big boy pants. Why don't you shove them in your ear? And it is so tone deaf and so fear-based that in order to survive at all, we need to run after. No matter that we're exhausted, keep running, keep trying, try harder, for heaven's sake. And I said to someone, we don't need to be more. We already are more. We are all the things we could ever be. It's all here. We just don't know it because it's something that we do spontaneously. We don't say, I think I'm going to be clever now. We just do it. And a friend of mine said, how did you get to be so smart? And I started to laugh and I said, I'm not that smart. You know what it is? I'm aware of it because people pay me to be different qualities that I possess. When somebody paid me to be mom, and you can't do that on television, they wanted that character and those behaviors and those traits and that voice, dear, and the glove, dear, and are you wearing clean underwear, dear? They wanted her. They didn't need to hear the Abby stuff, although every so often I would kind of slide that in. But they were paying to see and hear basically my version of my mother, my own mother, who was not always paying attention. And when people wanted Care Bears, I didn't give them mom. I gave them Care Bears. I gave them 3 different kinds of Care Bears. Why? Well, they asked for 3, so no flies on me. That's very kind, Freddie. Freddie Moore just said, you have an ear that listens to people. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I do it for 2 reasons, Freddie. One of them is selfish. One of them is completely selfish. And the other one is compassion. The selfish one is I'm listening because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. And I'm hoping one of the people around me does. And I want to make sure I don't miss anything in case they know. That has been the story of my life, my whole life, because of the military. And the other reason that is not selfish is that I listen because I know what it's like to be uncertain. And I'm listening and watching for the signs that people are feeling uncertain and lost because I have felt those things. And if I've felt them, then I know. I don't necessarily know what to say, but I certainly know how to be present and to be there. And that's why I do that. So thank you. And that this is part of what I'm talking about. We all have these abilities. We just don't know where they are. The reason we don't know is because nobody on a regular basis has, what is that? Why is my hair doing that? Nobody on a regular basis has said, I would like you to sound like an evil troll who drank Sterno for a living. That so seldom comes up in a conversation, really. However, when we were doing Teddy Ruxpin, the director said, we're going to have to figure out how to record when you do this character because it's going to rip your throat to shreds. And I said, well, that sounds like fun. Am I getting danger pay? No. Okay. What is it? And then they explained Eleanor Tweeg to me. And I said, okay, then. Yeah, let's do that at the end of the day. And I'm going to be able to write off throat lozenges on my taxes this year. So this quality, Eleanor Tweeg was crazy. She was, hello, darling. I mean, she was a whack job and fun to do. And vocally challenging to do. And it represented a kind of person, a part of my personality, a part of those personalities that I know how to depict. Okay, nothing like friend bear, nothing like wish bear, nothing like mom dear, nothing like mom dear. And yet me, and I know where they are, and I can clearly bring them back like that. Why? Because that's what I learned to do. And because I got paid to do it, I remember where I put them. So I was saying to people, if I can prove to you that you do this exact same thing all the time, and you just don't realize it, if I can prove it to you, will you believe me that it's not just me, it's everybody? I don't know. Go ahead, give it a try. I'm willing to listen. So I came up with this example. I said, when you get a new puppy or kitten, and the puppy or the kitten does something adorable, because that's what these animals do. That's their definition. Kitten, puppy equals adorable. Do something adorable. You say, who's a good boy? Who's a good? Easy, wizzy, wizzy, right? That's how you talk to the small, short animal who's looking at you thinking, okay, then. When you go to work on the same day and you run into your boss who says, oh, good, I'm glad I ran into you. Listen, I want to talk to you about something. Come to my office. And you think, oh, you go to the office and the boss says, close the door. Okay, click. Yes. Listen, I've been meaning to say this. I'm really pleased with your work. Really pleased. Thanks. Yeah. You want to know how pleased? I'm giving you a raise. You know what you don't say to your boss? Who's a good boy? Izzy, wizzy, googie, googie. You don't say that to your boss because your boss would call a padded truck. Bye-bye raise. When I say that to people, they laugh and they say, you're right. You're right. I say, you don't talk to the garbage, the man picking up the garbage, delivering garbage. That would be the fast food truck. The guy picking up garbage, you don't talk to that person the way you talk to your new boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other, unless they're the same thing. It's a different quality that you bring to have that communication with that person who has certain expectations of you and you have of them. It's a totally different part of you. They all have value. They all matter. And you are able to jump back and forth from one to the other without a blink. So easily, you don't even realize you're doing it. Pivotry. It's magic. If we are capable of that, and we are, then anything that is in the way, anything that has knocked the stuffing out of us, anything that has scared the living daylights out of us, anything that has made us feel terrible is something we can handle. Not alone, not in this moment, but we have the ability. We have the ability to respond automatically, subconscious brain. We have the ability to pay attention and respond in the moment, cortex brain. And we have the ability, prefrontal cortex, to evaluate cause and effect. We have all of that working for us. So if we're faced with a problem, dead computer, now what? We also have the ability to say, what if? We don't always say what if right away. We don't always recover immediately. What we do have, what we can change is the story we've told ourselves about our ability in the face of challenge. I was writing about this the other day. I was using this. This is a pen. Yeah. And over here, this is a notebook. This is the old school tech that I've been using while the computer has been having its issues. I was writing the other day about our ability to suddenly recognize where something came from and say, how long have I been doing that? And I'm going to give you an example because I know it's happened to you. And Freddie, I'll answer your question in a second about the characters. Every single one of us at some point in time has been in the middle of doing something, talking to somebody, being frustrated with something. And we've opened our mouth and we've said something, and then we've stopped in the middle of saying it. And we have said, oh my God, I sound just like my mother or my father or Aunt Mary or that teacher I never liked. Where the hell did that come from? The thing, my dad used to say, everyone has to make an effort. We all make an effort. He would say it to me when I wasn't making one. And then the wonderful irony is that I eventually wrote a very funny sketch that I performed live on stage, and then we did a television special, and it's called Effort, and it's about going to the doctor for your annual the woman's annual internal examination, which is mortifying. Just mortifying. But I wrote this sketch and it was very funny and people laughed really, really hard. And I thought, you know what? Everyone makes an effort. And every time I started the sketch and I said that, I was smiling because I was channeling my dad. And so we bring back all the time things we heard. It's just there. The subconscious brain has everything. The subconscious brain is a hoarder. It keeps every memory. It keeps everything. And when we're not sure, it just hands you something. And sometimes it's really good, and sometimes not so much. And so when we do that, when we look at a situation and our position in it, the thing we say is not our story. It's the story we were told. And we have repeated it often enough so we think it is our story. Why do I always get well, you know what they say? That's not ours. Somebody said it. You'll never amount to anything. Infants aren't born with a little thing in their brain saying, well, you'll never amount to anything. That doesn't happen. The infant is sitting there looking around saying, where's supper? And I have to go to the bathroom. That's pretty simple. The infant is not saying, I don't deserve. I'll never, woe is me. The infant doesn't have that story. It's taught. So when we are exhausted by health, tech problems, weather, jobs, relationships, anything, injury, accident, the story we tell ourselves matters, because we're going to use that story to overcome. We're going to use that story as our GPS. We're going to use that story as our pep talk, as the toolkit we carry to fix the situation and carry on. If the story is negative, if the story is shame and blame and guilt and fear and yelling, that's what we carry with us. The repair that we make, the fix that we create, is covered all over with all kinds of negative references. Every time you look at the repair, you say, oh, gee, remember the time, The repair is just a repair. It's an act. It's not a mood. It's not an intention. It's an action. It's a function. How we describe it, the value we place on it, positive or negative, is the memory we carry. And the toxic, angry, screaming energy that we surround ourselves with. We don't need to do that. We have a choice. Just because they told that story doesn't make it true. So, this brilliant, sweet, lovely woman that I've had the honor to cross paths with. Her name is Mandy Morris. And she does a lot of work helping people let go of a lot of their negative stuff. She's really a dedicated and beautiful, stunningly beautiful girl. She has the questions that are amazing. And she says, when we are in the middle of blaming and shaming, when we are in the middle of saying things never work out, things are this, I'm that, nothing is ever gonna, these are the questions. Is that true? The thing I just said, is this story that I'm telling myself, is it true? Does it have to be true to support this attitude that I have become comfortable with, that I've grown accustomed to? Am I perpetuating it so that I stay locked here? So is it true? Does it have to be true to serve me on my negative agenda? And if it's not true, what does the truth look like? I think they're brilliant questions. I think they're really important questions to ask. Out of a glitch on the other platform, I was nudged to come sooner to YouTube. So thank you for the glitch. Always happens to me. No, it doesn't always happen to me. I see people on the other platform all the time. I just got this, I just got that. Okay, so you know what? It happens. We just happen to walk into it. Bees, bugs. Bad smell, rain. It was just raining. You walked into it. The rain didn't say, is she here yet? Okay, let's wait, let's hide. And then when she comes, we'll rain on her. Rain doesn't do that. Rain is raining. We walk into it. Is the negative stuff true? Are we making it true? Are we keeping it true in order to stay stuck? What is it like if it isn't true? What is the true story? Really important. I really like those questions. I'm going to reference her and credit her and use those questions because I think they're a really good grounding, anchoring. I think they're a great rudder because it's a wake-up call. I think it's so important. So what I went through for a month was annoying. It was annoying. What other people are going through, horrific. What I went through was inconvenient. There's another computer. I piggybacked onto it, so I was able to use it. Weird keyboard, strange layout of stuff. Me walking around trying to figure out, where the cushions and the end tables are. Was it difficult? No, it wasn't difficult. Was it annoying? Yes. Was it inconvenient? Yes. Did I resent it? No, I didn't resent it. I don't have the right to resent it. I'm lucky that there was a second computer. I'm grateful, very grateful that there was a second computer. I am so grateful. I am beyond words. I am beyond words grateful that I have clever, resourceful, creative friends who roll their eyes and say, oh God, let me show you. I am so grateful I am so grateful. Even if I have to put up with the, stuff, and sometimes there's yelling. All right. We'll yell now and then we won't yell later. Fine. I am so grateful that I have been on a career path and lived a life path that it has allowed me to recognize these things, these abilities that we have. I see how they stick together. We teach what we learn. If we are taught that we're useless, then that's what we tell the world we are. And if we were not respected and we don't believe we deserve respect, then that's how we tell the world to treat us. And the world says, oh, okay, you sure? Yep. Then that's what we get. We teach what we learn. Until one day we say, okay, you know what? That really sucks. I don't like that. Why does that keep happening? The famous, talented Dorothy Parker once said, I always fell in love with the same man. Fortunately, his name changed to keep things interesting. Great line. And we always find ourselves in the same place. I wonder how that happens. Could be because we pick it. Why do we pick it? Because it's what we learned. It's what we were taught. We open our mouths one day and we hear ourselves say it. And we think, where did that come from? So I really think that when these things happen, it's an opportunity to discover who we are. Will we have grace under pressure, or are we going to behave like a jerk? I think that a lot of reasons people behave like jerks is because they're afraid, because they feel they've lost control, because they thought they had control at some point. And they feel terrified without control. So they scramble and they yell. Grown people screaming at people, you're not the boss of me. Okay. Grown people with an IQ larger than their shoe size saying it's a conspiracy, And you want to say to them, how often have you seen 5 people agree on anything for any length of time? How long? How long? How often have you seen 5 people? I say 5 because it usually takes 5 people to get everything done if it's a conspiracy. How often have you seen 5 people agree on anything for any length of time? The likelihood that there's a conspiracy of thousands of people all planning to do the same thing is slim. So therefore, what is going on? Instead of conspiracy, it's a whole bunch of people in similar situations all making the same default choices because they were all taught the same stuff. When I was a small child and we went to Europe, and we lived there for 3 years, I learned something very interesting about human nature. We are all basically the same. What distinguishes us is how we're raised. We're all basically the same. What distinguishes us is the stories we were told about who we are. Cultural differences. People like us do things like this. You look just like your uncle. He never amounted to anything. People are essentially the same. What changes us is our cultural differences. What changes us is the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, and the shame and the blame and the worthiness that we don't have or do have. These are all stories that were taught to us. You know what? You know what this is? I've mentioned it before. It's a pen. It's my pen. It's got my cartoon face on it. See? Can you actually see it? There it is. See my eyes. This is a pen. You know what you can do with a pen? Other than the original intention of a pen? You can rewrite the story. You can change the role you've been playing. Give yourself a different name. Change the situation and write a different ending. Create a different path. Create different conflicts. Bring in new characters. We own the pen. We have always had the ability Why, yes, Billy, Vikings did invent the pen is mightier than the sword. We have always had the ability to change the narrative. We have always had the ability to say, wait a minute, why do I keep doing that? I don't even like doing that. Why am I putting up with that? Who do you think I am? I know why you think I am. I taught you how to think what I am. The question is who you think I am. We have the power to look at any situation and say, yeah, that's going to hurt. And then after that, we'll go shopping. We have that ability. It's not because we're geniuses. And it's not that I have the ability and I am from a gracious height reaching down to teach it to you. We all have it. The difference is that until I started going on and on and on about Pivotry and motion, nobody talked about it. It was just a thing we did. We weren't even aware. But if I watch you long enough, I can point it out. I can say, you did this and then you did that. See that? Like that. In a blink, you did that. And people, when I do it, people say, I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Wow. Huh. And when they realize it, posture, discovery, excitement, positivity, anticipation. They didn't just suddenly experience those things for the first time. They triggered them. Because we control how we feel. We can make it okay. We can make it awesome. We can make it We can make it terrible. We own that. We can rewrite it. It takes practice until it becomes a habit. This is why we're doing the Pivotry series. This is why the first book that says this is what it is, the next 5 books that introduce a bunch of people who do it, who told me their stories because I asked, and they said, okay, cool. And the last book is going to be how it's done. Now, the interesting thing about the last book, the workbook, is that you're going to read it and say, I do all this stuff. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, boys and girls. But when it's written down, you say, oh, yeah, I'm actually quite good at this. Yeah. So when I write it down and I suggest the order in which you do stuff, it's a practice book. It's a workout book. And then we're going to do something really magical with it after that. That's why I'm doing it. That's why we're doing it. And part of the reason for these videos, aside from the fact that it's kind of cool, is that I'm building a tribe. Billy, I don't know if you noticed when you came on to watch the video, but I had 91 subscribers a week ago, last Tuesday. I had 91. And now I have 109. Might be 10 by now. It's working. You said it would work, and it is. And I'm so excited. So as I wrap this up today, I want to say a couple of things that I always say because they matter, because you matter. These videos are my opportunity to talk to you. My opportunity is to tell you the things that I think make the day more interesting, more fun. It's my opportunity to brush off my skills and remember how to do this. Remember which way to face. Don't face the back, face the audience. It's my opportunity to share my time with you. And I'm so grateful that you share yours with me. And Billy has reminded me, and thanks. Freddie, you wanted to know which character I had the most fun playing. And it's a really interesting question to ask, because there isn't one character that is the most fun. There is a quality in the character that is the most fun. And that quality exists in pretty much every character I've played repeatedly. And the quality is mischief. I love saying things that surprise people and make them laugh. Not a practical joke, not that, but getting away with stuff and grinning, looking at the camera when I'm not supposed to, sneaking up behind somebody. One of my favorite line exchanges is the Rambo costume sketch with Alistair at the very end. It's just a throwaway line. Nice tights, though. We had a lot of fun doing that sketch. We had a lot of fun. All the kids and I had a lot of fun doing sketches. Les and I had fun doing sketches. The Care Bears, Teddy Ruxpin, all the shows. There was always an opportunity to be in a situation, either with other actors or a director or a situation with a script, in order to find the mischief and then deliver it, knowing that there would be people later, sometime, who knows where, who would go, I love it when she does that. That's my favorite thing. It's never gone away. And the reason I love it is because it's my favorite thing to do in real life. It's my favorite thing for me. And so when you look at the different characters and you look at the different shows, when you see that I've managed to pull a fast one, there's a whole energy change. I can't hide it. I'm having too good a time. So So let's say not a favorite character. Let's say a favorite characteristic, a favorite quality, a favorite hook. That's what it is. So, and thank you, Billy. So having this opportunity to have these conversations is just amazing. So I hope you'll join me on Thursday. I'll be back at 10 o'clock, Thursday. Tell your friends, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever. Tell people you need to subscribe to this. We need to get this woman's numbers up because we have evil plans in the works. And that'll be amazing. And I appreciate that. So as we wrap, channel your inner Vikings. We got this. We don't need to chase anything. We already are everything we need to be. We are amazing. Be good to you. Remember to hug your loved ones. And I'll see you on Thursday.